have I committed a crime? Is that why you're ringing me? And he said, no. And I said, well, why are you ringing me then? And he said, because this person is upset and offended.
You posted a picture of another Tameside councillor's car registration plate, not to put them in danger, not to have a go at them, just to raise the fact that their private personal registration says Mao and then 246 or something. But Mao was an horrendous Chinese communist dictator who led to the murder of at least 60 million Chinese people, if not more. And we have many far left idiots in this country who praise people like Mao and Stalin and Lenin as if they're the good guys. And you pointed out that one of the politicians in Tameside has this personal number plate. Is that a correct summary?
Yeah. So I've actually posted a similar picture before. So if you remember a couple of years ago with the clean air zone debate that was going around, I was going into a meeting council and to discuss that topic actually. And I thought it was hilarious that you've got a Labour councillor driving around in a Mercedes, such as, a good little socialist that they are, driving around in a luxury brand. And then to have a private number plate with Mao on it as well. I just thought the hypocrisy of that. What was hilarious at the same time was another picture that I've taken was next to it was a pickup truck, a diesel pickup truck, owned by the Green councillor at the time. And that didn't comply with Andy Burnham's clean air zone tags, the NO2, it had to be under a certain limit. Didn't comply with that at all. But his excuse was he needed that for his business. And that's all well and good. So that's what we've been saying. People need these vehicles for the businesses. But then, the Greens are then going around saying, well, you shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, well, obviously they are, because one of your councillors needs a diesel pickup truck for his gardening business. I have no issue with that, but just don't tell people that what they should be doing is my thing.
It's the hypocrisy of it all. It's the hypocrisy that gets us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I posted that some time ago, and then that same councillor from the Labour Party with the Mao registration plate, they were doing some event recently where they played the national anthem, and there was a number of Labour councillors there, and they didn't sing the national anthem, and I thought, well, that's a bit bad. If you're a councillor and you're at an event and they play the national anthem, you're expected to sing it as a matter of protocol. I just think it's good manners, really. And basically, that councillor was the one with the Mao registration plate. So I said, is it any wonder that they refuse to sing the national anthem when they've got Mao on the license plate? And I just posted a picture of it. And then the day or two later, I got a phone call, withheld number, from Ashton Police Station. I can't remember the officer's name. He introduced himself and said that we've had a complaint and the person wishes you to take down the picture of their car with their number plate on. So I said, well, have I committed a crime? Is that why you're ringing me? And he said, no. And I said, well, why are you ringing me then? And he said, because this person is upset and offended. And it's like, why? Why are we, why are the police chasing around on this? We're going to talk about CSE later. There is something very similar and sinister. And I'll send you the screenshots of the emails as well that I had with the CSE incident. But I said to him, so no crime's been committed then? And he said, no. And I said, right, well, it stays up then. So he said, right, well, I have to make a log of it and refer it back to the complainant. Now, I've had a conflicting story. Now, one person has told me that it isn't the councillor with the registration plate that has put in a complaint, but another senior Labour councillor. I have an idea who that is. They have told me, but I can't. There's nothing to prove that just yet. But that's what I'm working on, basically, to prove that because it's a misuse of police resources at the end of the day, and I don't think police should be going around policing things like that when there's bigger priorities in the area like burglaries.
No, absolutely. If that councillor with the Mao number plate, are we allowed to name this councillor with the Mao number plate?
You can do if you want.
What's the name?
Naila Sharif.
Naila Sharif. So if they've got a Mao number plate, which isn't a normal number plate, this is something they've had to buy extra to show off, because that's what private number plates are about, showing off, letting everybody see that you have a private number plate. So they're not trying to hide that they're the council. They're not trying to hide. They want you to see their private number plate. And then to have the police involved, which isn't a crime. And you said, misuse of police resources. The police in this country now are turning into the Gestapo, the Stasi. They're now becoming arms of our political elite. They're the brown shirts to the politicians sat in the town hall or in Westminster. It's absolutely disgraceful. If that councillor had an issue with you sharing that photo, and they may have an issue, they may even have a legitimate issue with you sharing that photo. We don't know. That's a private matter. That's a civil matter. You should be getting a solicitor's letter, and and that
there's no nothing to say that it would actually be a civil matter, to be honest with you, because it's not defamation of sorts. So
no, but I mean civil matter as in between two civilians. I'm not saying it broke any civil law. I'm just saying it's a civil matter between two people. Doesn't need the police involved. If he's got an issue with it, or he or she's got an issue with it, then it should have been a solicitor's letter. But a solicitor would have said to them, "This is a complete waste of my time writing to somebody. If you want to give me under the 50 quid for doing it." The police, I mean, I don't know if you know much about me, but I spent 20 years working with the police. I was based in police stations when I worked for Manchester Council. I've trained police officers. I've created award-winning police plans and projects. And when I set up my crime reduction charity, that worked alongside the police as well. I know the police extremely well. I used to be a huge supporter of the police up to this year, basically, up to when they arrested that man in Manchester city centre for burning a Quran, then released all these details online, knowing he could be assassinated by some radical nutcase. And that's when I realised the police now are part of the problem. They've always been the political arm to a certain extent, but they're over politicized now. They're not just dealing with the law. We use the phrase now two-tier system, and it's evident to everybody. And your example, that number plate, is another example of that. You're an elected official. You represent so many thousand people in your area. You're an elected official. You should be treated slightly better than other people because you're an elected official.
I don't see that I should be treated any differently. But just to give it some perspective, you've had Raja Mir on your podcast before. Raja won't mind me saying. Raja just actually lives up the road from me. He lives in Tameside. And he's been harassed so many times on so many jumped up charges, which have amounted to nothing. Okay, so the police actually have form for this in the borough, and it's just recently as well that Tameside is the same borough where we've had this Trigger Me Timbers WhatsApp leak. Well, and there was recently a story in the Daily Mail where there was an elderly lady. Well, I won't say the word elderly. That's quite offensive to her. She wasn't elderly, but she was grandma.
You're going to get another phone call off the police is coming to mother now.
Yeah, I think I might be getting a phone call off her. But there was this lady. She posted on Facebook that councillors should resign. Fair comment. People disagree with what I say, and people will say that I should resign over it. That's freedom of speech at the end of the day, and people have the opportunity to do that at the ballot box. I've stood for election 3 times now in Stalybridge South, and I've won 3 times. So, but to call for someone to resign shouldn't be an offence. And she had 2 detectives turn up on her doorstep for saying that.
I saw the video. I saw the video. They were plainclothes detectives. Absolutely shocking.
Yeah. So we have an issue with GMP in Tameside, and we've got proof and evidence now that the Labour Party are using the police as their own personal force, and they are being treated differently. But I don't believe just because I'm a councillor, if I did something wrong, I would expect the police to use the full force of the law against me. Just because I'm elected does not exempt me whatsoever, and nor should it grant me any specialist treatment should something happen to me that I may feel aggrieved by.